All right, man. So the second round starts today. At least one of the first games in the second round starts today. It is the Pacers at the Cavaliers, a series that I think can actually could have it has the potential to actually be really really interesting. Um, but anyways, so we're gonna go ahead and do our second round predictions. We're gonna kind of preview each series, talk about the things that I think are gonna be super important in each series, and then we're gonna talk about. We're not gonna talk about either the Warriors or the Rockets versus Minnesota. But I will say, no matter who wins this game, I do believe Minnesota is going to win the next series and go on to the conference finals. But I'm not going to talk about what could be key. I'm not going to talk about matchups. I'm not going to talk about any of that with that stuff until about 11 p.m. tonight when the game is over, and then I can say, oh, okay, now I'll either be slightly depressed because Steph Curry and the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead again, or I'll be just barely happy because they got out of the first round. So I'm either going to be barely happy or depressed. One of the two, no in between. But anyways, let's go ahead. Let's talk about Pacers Cavaliers. Starts tonight. Comes on at 6 p.m. Man, this is a series that I think could be really interesting. I'm gonna pick the Cavs. I'm gonna say Cavs in six, but I could very well see the series going seven. It's damn near like a coin toss in my eyes because I think the Pacers proved to me in the last round that they are still a really good team. I think the thing that's going to hold them back in this series though is going to be Tyler Hero's lack of aggression. I mean Tyrese Halliburton's lack of aggression offensively. Now it's going to be really interesting because it's going to be one of two things. Either Tyrese Halliburton's going to get the best defender, so he's going to get a whoever they choose to start in at the three spot, depending on the game, depending on how the matchups go. So he's going to get probably whoever's starting at the three. I'd be interested to see if like Isaac Okoro gets real minutes in this series because Isaac Okoro still. I don't know why. Part of me doesn't remember if he's on their team or not still. Because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch that Heat series. He is. He's still on the team. That's what I thought. I just wasn't sure. Okay. Part of me kind of thinks that Isaac Okoro might get some starting minutes to guard him, but I don't know. It could just be Max Strus guarding him. I don't know. But the thing that's really interesting. Hold on, my homie texted me. Let me text him back real quick. So the thing that's really interesting to me about this series is either he's going to get the best defender on the Cavs, as I think he's going to do, and that's going to force him to be not super aggressive, and even when he is to have inefficient nights, or it's going to be one of those things where they say, hey, we're going to put our best defenders on guys like Andrew Nemhard, stuff like that, and we're going to let Darius Garland, we're going to try to hide him by maybe having him guard Aaron Neesmith or something, and they're gonna say, okay, Tyrese, you can shoot all you want to, but we're not gonna let you do what you want to do, which is get everybody else involved, and then you have four guys that score 20 or 15 plus. That's it's gonna be one of the two, and I'm interested to see which the Cavs pick. Either the Cavs are gonna say Tyrese Halliburton beat us by yourself, or they're gonna say Tyrese Halliburton, we already know you aren't gonna shoot, so let's just see if Andrew Nimhard and Aaron Neesmith can beat us consistently. Which I don't know. Like I said, I don't know which they're going to pick. I'm going to pick Cavs in five because I think either way, the Cavs have the more reliable offense and defense. And I think that 3-point shooting that the Cavs have the opportunity to blow up at any point is just going to be huge. And they'll probably have one of those games in this series where they go off and hit 43s. So you don't know. Let me think. So yeah, Cavs. I'm going to say Cavs in six there. And especially another thing I'm going to talk about is um, the Cavs bigs I think are going to be so important defensively because you're not going to allow Tyrese Halliburton to get super downhill or Andrew Nemhard to get downhill or anything like that. When Benedict Mathurin comes in the game, you're not going to allow him to get downhill. So I do think the Pacers bench might kind of be a little useless in this game because even I mean unless what's his face can fry, dude, what's his name? Unless TJ McConnell, unless TJ McConnell can fry, I don't really see the Pacers bench doing much in this series, and the Cavs bench, it's like even if their starters aren't doing great, you get Ty Jerome and DeAndre Hunter off the bench, and it's like, damn, well now they got two guys off the bench that are scoring 20 a game, and they're frying us. So I think the Cavs are just the better team. However, I could see this going seven, and I honestly could even see the Pacers winning, especially because Donovan Mitchell didn't look like a top 10 player in the world in the last series, um, which I think at times he borderlines on like top 10, top 15 player in the league. So yeah, next series, let's talk about one that everybody's interested in. Let's go Nuggets Thunder. I'm gonna pick the Thunder here. I just think that the Thunder have the. I think the Thunder's bench depth is gonna be huge here, and I also don't think that the Thunder are going to allow Denver's defense to play as well as it did against LA, because I don't think the Thunder are going. The Thunder have better role players and less one-dimensional role players than what LA has. So there are moments where you have Ben Simmons or Chris Dunn or Derrick Jones Jr. or Bogdanovich on the road who should be a shooter but couldn't hit a damn shot on the road. So if you where the Clippers had those guys, so you feel okay even though your defense isn't good when those guys are in. I don't think you can do that because like you aren't leaving Aaron Wiggins. So what are you gonna do there? I mean, I guess you can leave Caruso and you can test your luck with Lou Dort with like the start of the game. And I do think Lou Dort's going to be a super important player in this series. But it's just like there's not many guys on the Thunder that you can really leave or that aren't an offensive threat to get a bucket at some point. Jokic, you can't hide him really because it's like Isaiah Hartenstein's gonna get to he's gonna get there, he's gonna get those little push shot floaters up. You're gonna get Chet, and if Chet has him out on the perimeter, I'm assuming Chet's going to get Aaron Gordon. So then if he has Aaron Gordon out on the perimeter, that's even worse because he's probably their best interior defender. MPJ, we don't know what he's going to look like. And I think another huge thing here is that I don't know if Russell Westbrook can do in this series what he did in the last series against this much better defense. And at the same time, even if he does, who else off the bench is going to? Genuinely, because it's like Lou Dort's going to be on Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray might not be doing nothing in this series. Shea's going to be on who? MPJ. You feel pretty good with that. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting. Definitely interesting because then you put J Dub on. Nah, you might put Shea on Christian Brown and then you put J Dub on MPJ probably. Yeah, that's probably what you do, and then you probably put Hart on Jokic, maybe Chet sometimes on Jokic, just because you don't really want Hartenstein as much out of the paint as you would be okay with Chet. I don't know. I'm interested to see, and I think game one of that series is going to tell us a lot. But at the same time, it's Thunder have been rested for a full week almost, and the Clippers just played a game 7 last night. So I mean, the Nuggets just played a game 7 last night. So I think that's going to be huge, and I think J-Dub's going to be a huge player in this series. He has to have a good offensive series. He has to. Because while I think Shea can pretty much fry whoever guards him in this game, which it'll probably be Christian Brown or Aaron Gordon, so I just think he can really fry whoever he really wants to in this series. But then it's like it's gonna have to be Christian Brown because if you put Christian Brown on J Dub, you trust J Dub to get to the mid range and fry from there. 3-point shooting is also gonna be a huge thing for OKC. Where you need them to have good 3-point shooting because the Nuggets were somehow able to beat the Clippers in some of those games with 3-point shooting, and you just don't trust the Nuggets to keep doing that. So, but at the same time, it's like you never know when Lou Dort's going to go 0 for 6 or when J-Dub is going to go 0 for 4 from 3 and they're all wide open. And then Chet's the only guy that can hit a 3 because Shea's getting to the line and he's really slashing, hitting the middies. So he's not really shooting as many threes. I just don't know. I think there are less unknowns with the Thunder, and I think the Thunder, this is just a better matchup for the Thunder than it would have been if LA had won. So I'm gonna go with the Thunder here. But you never know with Nikola Jokic being the best player in the world. I'm gonna say Thunder in 6, but Nikola Jokic is still the best player in the world, even though he didn't look like it for much of the last series. So you never know. Boston, New York. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this because I don't trust New York. I think Karl Anthony Towns is probably going to have to be their best player in this series for them to win it or to even have a chance because of the myriad of defenders that they can throw at Jaylen Brown. Jalen Brunson. Whereas Cat, it's like there are going to be a lot of times where you have where you have Tatum on you, or where you have Jaylen Brown on you, and like Al Horford, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? Kristaps, like if the Celtics are fully healthy, I'm gonna say Celtics in 5. I trust them more. I think they're the better team. Peyton Pritchard could end up having a huge effect on this bench, especially because of how New York doesn't really have any bench players that you trust a lot. I just think the Knicks don't match up with him. Like Mikal Bridges and OG are cool, but it's like, do you really trust them offensively when Jalen Brunson's probably not going to have as good of an offensive series, almost guaranteed, as he did last season? Things of that nature. So it's tough, man. I just think this is a tough matchup for New York. You were supposed to be the team that built perfectly to go against this Celtics team, and you didn't. You're just not that. You haven't proved to be that. Mikal Bridges, man, if he's doing anything other than catching and shooting offensively, you kind of feel good with that if you're a Celtics fan. But I do think health will be important. Like, as long as Drew Holiday, Al Horford, Kristaps can stay healthy this whole season, this whole series, they'll be good. I do think the Jays are probably going to have to play pretty well offensively in this series because of how taxed guys like Drew Holiday, even Jaylen Brown and Derek White are going to be from that Jalen Brunson assignment. And yeah, man, I just trust Peyton Pritchard off the bench way more than I trust anybody off the bench for New York. So go ahead and give me Boston at 5. I feel like I'm missing one. Oh, it'll be Minnesota versus whoever wins. So we don't know yet. So yeah, man, let me know what y'all think. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say Cavs win. I'm going to say Celtics win, and I'm going to say Cavs win. And then in this one, I don't know, it depends. It definitely depends who plays in this Minnesota series, but I'd probably pick Minnesota either way. And if there was one series I had to say that like I could see changing, it's probably Cleveland, Indiana. Like if I had to say, well, there's one series where I could be like I could see the other team winning, I do think it's Cleveland versus the Pacers. So yeah, all right, man. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching. Excited for this game 7 tonight. Excited to watch game 1 of this Pacers Cavs series because I think it'll be a really good series as I mentioned. So yeah, man. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. All glory to God as always. Thank you for watching, and let me know what y'all think about the second round. Who's gonna win where? And I'll do maybe its own preview video for whoever plays the Timberwolves. That might get its own video like tomorrow, or that probably would be part of the video tonight. I don't know. But all right, man. Peace out.